Peruwan Saranai, kiranatv, Daham Kirana. We have invited to Most Venerable Tedunupitiya Upananda Thero to conduct this program for our children. Today, we're going to talk about self-love. Self-love. Love in general is conditional, whereas the kind of love that Buddha has taught is unconditional. It is in Pali called metta. The first level of metta is self-metta, meaning unconditional self-love. Those who love themselves unconditionally not only realize the true value of love, they also remain emotionally much stronger so that they can help many more people.
Hello and welcome to another session on kiranatv. Today we are going to talk about self-love. This is very important. So everyone needs to be loved, right? And people, however, regardless of your background, religious, ethnic, cultural backgrounds, regardless of your age, we all need love. And that's one thing that we always look for is love. But today I'm going to talk about a different kind of love. Of course, it's going to be self-love, but this love, as Buddha says, is unconditional self-love. When it comes to love, it is necessarily conditional, right? Let's talk about love between two people. Unless, let's say, two people, two friends, two people, A and B, at the beginning of a relationship, they love each other. But halfway through their relationship, when either party, suppose when A fails to love B enough, and B would be sad, or probably B would stop loving A, still love but to a reduced extent. It's because of the conditions that we put forward. Always, love in general terms is conditional. Whereas when it comes to love in Buddhism, as Buddha talks about it, I'm not talking about relation, even if a romantic love, it has to be unconditional. So unconditional love in Buddha's language is called metta, M-E-T-T-A, metta. And you are familiar with that term anyway. So unconditional self-love. Now, at the beginning of a relationship, and then even if the other party doesn't love you enough, and you don't care, because why? Because the relationship is new. But halfway through, and then you begin to be restless. So unless the other party doesn't love you enough, you are hesitant to love that person back. Whereas in the case of unconditional love, even if someone doesn't love you at all, and then you still don't become restless, you love them. Why? That is called unconditional love. At that point, that is pure spiritual love. There's no romantic feelings involved. But even even of a romantic relationship, if you apply this Buddhist way of loving, and you can still make up your mind. It's by saying that it is their problem that they don't know how to love. But for the sake, for your own sake, you can love. But at that point, what is called loving yourself enough. But at times, people are sad that others don't love them back enough. But actually, if there is someone in the world who loves you the best, it is you yourself. And when it comes to metta, unconditional love, it is unconditional self-love. In other words, unconditional self-metta. You have to be friendly with yourself. You have to love yourself. So when you know how to learn yourself, even if there's no one else to love you and you are not sad, but in order to love yourself, you need to think about one thing, that is self-confidence. Now, I have come across lots of people from different cultures, in different countries, and so that they live in denial. You know what denial is? Now, denial means you have given up on everything. You have even given up on yourself, and so that you simply live, but actually you are not living. You just let life go on. But when it comes to self-love, so that when you love yourself the Buddhist way, and then you understand the value of love. Some people don't love themselves, but try to love others. But actually that doesn't work. That is not successful, because without knowing the value of love, how could you love someone else? And then so that the lesser you love yourself, and ask someone else to love you, you need more. You are more of an attention seeker. When it comes to conditional love, attention seeking plays the biggest role in that. When you don't pay attention to the other party enough, or vice versa, and then you almost feel like ending your relationship. Whereas when it comes to self-love, unconditional self-love or self-metta, and then you don't get shaken by the loss of love from someone else, because you trust yourself, you have self-confidence, you can move forward all by yourself. I have come across lots of people who have fallen victim to a loving relationship. Actually, there wasn't love. Some people are opportunistic. They were opportunistic, and they simply use these people, and they live with the victim's mindset. Now, if you really, whereas when it comes to unconditional love, you never put anyone in trouble. Why is that? Because you yourself know what love is, because at the first place you love yourself. Now, whenever we practice self-love is also a type of meditation in Buddhism, bhavana, meditation on metta, or meditation on unconditional self-love. And on daily basis, you have to make time to love yourself. You can choose your favorite phrases like may I be happy, may I be peaceful, or may I be well, may I take care of myself happily. Or you can question yourself. You can put that in a question for interrogative form. Have I ever loved myself? Have I waited for others to love me? And have I ever been sad simply because they failed to love me? If I so, why not take care of myself? And even if there are like thousands of people in your life whom you think are ready to your rescue, come to your rescue, ready to love you, but beyond a certain point, you have to love yourself. You have to take care of yourself, right? So in Buddhism, we use the rhinoceros analogy. Be like a rhino, right? Rhino is famous for its self-confidence. Even if it encounters big cats, but still at times rhino can scare away big cats like tigers and lions. Why is that? Because of its personality. And then so when you love yourself, when you do metta, self-love towards yourself on daily basis, and then what happens is you remain emotionally much stronger than many others in your surroundings, in your inner circle or in the society. Whereas when you don't love yourself enough, unconditionally, you always feel like looking for certain people to love you back. Now, whereas when you love yourself enough so that you know the meaning of self-love, and you are not worried, even if there isn't a single person who would love you, and you can still take care of yourself happily. And then so when it comes to loving yourself at the first place is not being selfish. Some people misunderstand self-love as opportunistic, but that's not the case actually. When you love yourself at the first place, what happens? You learn, as I said, you learn the value of love. And what happens, you not only love yourself, you can also love many others, help many others on the receiving end of your help. The more you practice self-love, you become emotionally much stronger than many other people, so that in the long run you can help so many people. At times you need to offer compassionate help to someone who is in suffering. Of course, compassion means to help someone going through some suffering, some problems. Right. Now, when you are emotionally stronger, thanks to self-love, you can help many other people. It's quite natural that whenever you happen to help someone going through some problems, you happen to cry, lament with them. But quite natural. But whereas when your self-love is stronger, and instead of crying with them, you can take positive action, and you can help them out. Why? Because you are emotionally much stronger than many other people. So that is the value of self-love. Like I said, how to practice self-love? That should be suitable time. It is always good to practice self-love early in the morning. But in case you don't find time to do that, make time to do that. You can always make time at bedtime. Before going to bed, sit quiet and take few deep breaths, and then meditate on unconditional self-love, self-metta, by saying, even if there is no one to take care of me, at times it could become a reality in the future. I'm not going to have my parents and family and loved ones forever in my life. Now I am very young, life goes on, then I grow, I become an adult. I should prepare myself for the worst case scenario in my life. So that I must learn to love myself. The loved ones are not going to be around forever. I may lose them at any given moment. I can lose them any moment. So in case I lose all my loved ones, then I should be able to take care of myself. And before it's too late, I should be able to love myself. And I have come across some people, they are all educated as well, but so that the moment they don't get someone else's attention, they cry a lot. Why? They are unrealistically codependent on others. Now, codependent can be a chronic habit. You know what a chronic habit is. When a habit is chronic, just like an illness, it's very hard to have a remedy for that. Right? So that when it comes to don't let your codependency a chronic habit. You can very easily overcome that when you make meditation or self-reflection in terms of self-love on daily basis, so especially at night. And also you can avoid fuzzy dreams, bad dreams or nightmares. I have some people have told me that at times they would wake up from a dream in the middle of the night screaming, simply because there were some monsters, right, appearing and trying to kill them. But actually what happens was, it is their loneliness. It is their loneliness that got visualized in dream form at night when they were asleep. There was no, and they at times in their dreams they were in a haunting place, like a very creepy place. When they woke up, and as they woke up screaming, and they were still shivering in fear. As I spoke to them, but they overall in their daily life, there's no one to love them. but they hadn't learned how to love themselves. That is why they invited loneliness into their life. So even in their dream life, in their dream world, they feel left out. So the only remedy is that you learn to love yourself. It takes only maybe a minute. You can do some meditation at bedtime. It takes you maybe only a couple of minutes. Even 1 minute is good enough. May I be well. May I be happy. May I take care of myself happily. Even if now I am happy that there are so many people, I have a family. But what if I lose all my connections in the future? I should still live my life. Life goes on anyway. So that I should be able to take care of myself. And so that I must learn, I must love myself. And then there's no guarantee that your life is going to be all happy. Who knows? At times some people have to live in denial. Denial is called, in Buddhist psychology, is called emotional red zone. Right? Red zone means there's danger there. And then people can get depressed. First they get stressed out, they get frustrated, and they get depressed as well. So that and then you can easily avoid depression when you love yourself. Metta is the best remedy. But at this point, the first level of metta, what is that? What is the first level of metta? First level of love is self-love, taking care of yourself. It's not, as I said, it's not because you are selfish that you love yourself at the first place. It's because you need to take care of yourself, and hence self-care, that you love yourself at the beginning, at the first place. But actually, that is part of our personality also. Self-love is a major component of your personality, your character. And then if you can, even when you have lost all your connections, let's suppose you have 1,000 connections, relationships, and they have, everyone has left you, and you are just standing right in the middle of, so you are just standing out there with no one around, and you can very easily say, so that I can survive no matter what, because I love myself. And you should be able to make that statement. Of course, people have to make that statement one day. And people spend lots of money for guidance counseling in the Western countries. It's happening in Asia as well, because most of the time what happens is they have never learned to love themselves. They are totally codependent upon many others. You can easily avoid that. And you can be a healer too. While those who practice self-love not only heal themselves, they also heal others, many others. It's a blessing. That being said, think about make time. If you can make time for computer games, for surfing the internet, right? And you should be able to make couple of minutes, actually make time, just as short, little as a couple of minutes at night at bedtime, and then it contributes immensely towards the maintenance of good emotional health. Finally, what matters is that you are happy during the day. If you go to bed being the same sad person, there's no point having lots of friends around. There's no point having lovely parents or siblings. There's no point having a good relationship, good education, good family background. Why? Because almost toward the nightfall, you become the same sad person. But you can very easily transform that, simply because you practice self-love, metta. So and then remember that word. And the last thing I would like to say, choose your favorite phrase. May I be well, or may I be happy, or may I take care of myself happily. Probably The third phrase is my favorite personally. When I do self-love, meditation on self-metta or unconditional self-love, at night I say, may I take care of myself happily. The adverb is very important at that point. May I take care of myself happily, even if there's no one. And in our happiness as average human beings, we assume that our happiness is based on others. To a certain extent is right, because as young children, so your happiness is based on your parents, your family. Why? As minors, you need their comfort, but you are never going to be the minors forever, and you have to be, probably one day you will find yourself being an adult, happening to take care of everything all by yourself. And that moment you should be able to take a deep breath and say, I have taken care of myself and I will take care of myself happily. Thank you.